Human tactics have always stood out for being extreme. Admiral Talon tapped through a series light bombardment, but the image told a different story. 5 massive battle cruisers circling a planet, unleashing orbital artillery in perfect sync. Their target a terrorist fortress known only as the Keep, of images projected behind him. One showed the Battle of Yavin 5, humans had called it. Over 2 megatons of explosives rained down across 50 square miles. When asked if the attack was excessive, human diplomats looked puzzled. To them it was standard procedure. A human news report flashed onto the screen. The bombardment wasn't even the headline, just a side note buried under human volunteers' aid in peacekeeping efforts. To many, the Keepers of the Sacred Word had been the most dangerous terror group the galaxy had seen in decades, but to the humans, they were a nuisance, something to be squashed. Then came a chilling image, a lone human soldier standing calmly among the burning ruins of New Calante. Behind her, the wreckage of an entire city smoldered. Dropships hovered overhead, still firing into the debris. She leaned against a tree, her rifle casually slung over her shoulder as if nothing around her mattered. Reports confirmed she was part of the first wave of drop troopers. She alone had taken down at least 57 enemy fighters before being pulled out. Minutes later, the city and everything within a 200-mile radius was vaporized in a wave of nuclear fire. Another photo appeared, this time in a courtroom. The Galactic Council had tried to charge the humans with war crimes, but the human lawyer shut it down with 2 simple points. First, the Council had asked humanity to handle the Calante crisis. Second, the Colons had unleashed deadly viruses from a hidden lab, hoping to wipe out Earth's forces. The lawyer said it clearly. We had 2 choices: lose one city, or risk losing the entire planet. We chose the city. Admiral Talon paused, drinking from a tall glass of water. Then he added, with a cold edge, and let me remind you that was the restrained option. Humanity originally planned to wipe out the entire continent and lock down every star system within 15 light-years. Even that wasn't considered overkill by their commanders. Murmurs broke out across the chamber. One young officer raised her hand. Talon gave a slight nod. The young officer cleared her throat and began to speak nervously. If a 15-light-year quarantine wasn't considered overkill, then what was? She paused, visibly uneasy. Her voice cracked slightly. Admiral Talon just laughed. He tapped to the next slide. If only we knew, he said, still grinning. The room erupted again, quiet whispers, disbelief spreading like a virus. But Talon wasn't finished. He scanned the stunned crowd, the smile never leaving his face. At one point, he said, a 100-light-year quarantine was proposed. It was considered extreme, but still entirely reasonable. The whispers died instantly. The room froze. Sensing he had their full attention again, Admiral Talon continued, his voice lowering. That decision, along with everything else, was a wake-up call to the rest of the galaxy. Humanity doesn't view insane the same way we do. To them, the impossible is just plan B. He let that hang in the air for a moment. Because of that, he said slowly, we increased surveillance on human activities. We dug deep for years, then decades, now centuries. He clicked again. The screen behind him flashed rapidly with images, each one more jarring than the last. Diplomats shaking hands behind closed doors, massive engineering projects, entire battle fleets, secret corporations, unmarked emblems, quiet betrayals, silent wars. You're about to see classified material, Talon said firmly. Anyone caught leaking this will be court-martialed, possibly executed. He turned to the screen. But it's vital you see it for one reason only, to understand the monster we've been living beside. The screen flickered. Then the lights in the vast chamber dimmed, and a video began to play. What it showed was staggering. A massive human fleet gathered silently in deep space, surrounding a colossal Hypergate, one far larger than any known to exist. Subtitles appeared. Visual confirmed. Human warships, 11,127, GIA Officer 1. You ever seen a battle group that size? GIA Officer 2, only in history books. Suddenly, the Hypergate began to activate. A nearby star dimmed, its energy being siphoned into the gate. The camera zoomed in. The gate opened. GIA Officer 2, zoom in. Something's coming through. Wait, that can't be right. GIA Officer 1, I've run diagnostics twice. It's real. That gate's connected to a galaxy, but it's not ours. GIA Officer 2, get Overlord on the line. Now everything just changed. The screen went dark. Admiral Talon spoke again. Quieter now, but the weight in his voice was heavier than ever. We've always known humans were different, their minds, their methods, but now we know why. He paused, then dropped the truth. Humanity didn't come from this galaxy. They came from outside it. He clicked again. Intelligence now confirms. Humanity is an intergalactic force, a civilization that spans 27 galaxies in full control, and holds a presence in over 1,700 more. Some estimates put them at 10,000 galaxies under their influence. The screen behind him flashed image after image, galaxy maps, alien megastructures, towering fleets, corporate seals, powerful politicians, genius-level scientists. The information overwhelmed the senses. Several officers were visibly shaken, struggling to stay focused. Talon's final words cut through the silence like a blade. "We are not dealing with a rogue species. We're facing a Type 3 civilization. To them, a million stars. It's just a drop in the ocean. Quarantine isn't even an inconvenience for them," Admiral Talon said. "It's just ... business as usual." The next slide made everyone in the room flinch, including the Admiral himself. It was a map. The Great Rift of Alpha. 10 years ago, the rift had opened without warning and swallowed an entire star cluster whole. It took 157 species, humans included, to stop the radiation from spreading to 15,000 surrounding stars. The cost had been unimaginable. But what came next pushed the entire chamber into chaos. Another slide, this time, showed something that silenced every voice with raw panic. The image was horrifying. A single hypergate connected directly from human space to Althor. Gasps erupted. Officers stood, shouting over each other. Why would they do this? We thought they were allies. This is suicide. What were they thinking? We're doomed. We're all doomed. It took Admiral Talon over a minute just to regain control, and when he finally did, the next image stopped the uproar dead in its tracks. Projected on the screen was a being disfigured beyond recognition, its face frozen in a scream of agony. Its skin blistered, torn, burning, and it was still alive. This was inside Althor, Talon said grimly. A plague. It had no known name, but the humans had one for it. The Scourge. All it took was one carrier to destroy an entire world. The Council had monitored the outbreak for months, and then 10 days before the rifts collapsed, 273 planets went completely dark. No signals, no life, nothing left. "We begged the humans to intervene," Talon continued, "and this was their response." The next image was almost impossible to comprehend. A quasar, a roaring, ancient black hole, burning at the center of a galaxy. But this one wasn't just glowing, it was weaponized. "Resort. This is the most devastating creation in existence," Talon said. "They only use it when overkill isn't enough." New slides began to cycle. Images and data on the Scourge, found in multiple galaxies. Massive constructs surrounded it, channeling its violent energy into a beam of absolute destruction. Had built it. They had harnessed a quasar and turned it into a weapon of last. Each time, humanity had responded the same way, with brutal efficiency and firepower beyond comprehension. Talon exhaled slowly, glancing around the room. "I've only ever seen one thing make a human admiral uneasy," he said, "and this plague ... It's it." He paused, letting the weight of the truth settle across every mind in the room. "I know what you're all thinking. What do we do with this information?" The Admiral's voice lowered to near silence. "The answer is nothing." He looked each officer in the eye. "We don't do anything, because we can't." He gestured toward the fading quasar image. "We live every one of us at humanity's mercy. They don't act like conquerors. They're helpful, polite, peace-seeking, civilized." He straightened, eyes cold. "But let me be perfectly clear. Do not cross them. Because when humans act ... it's final. If they show you their weapons, it's a warning. If they use them, there won't be anything left to warn." Talon gave his final words, slow and deliberate. "Standard practice to them ... is apocalypse to us. Overkill to them ... is annihilation to the universe. So don't bring a cruiser to a quasar fight." He turned toward the door. "In short, don't piss the humans off.